It's my birthday. I'm gonna party like it's my birthday. Hey y'all! Welcome to La Rosa Reads. Today I'm going to be sharing with all of you my March TBR, which just so happens to be my birthday month. Let's do this. Woo! Yes, there is just something that comes alive in your girl in March because it is my birthday month. I am a Pisces through and through. If you know Pisces, then you know what I'm talking about. So this is a special month for me, obviously, but it's also a great month of reading. And before I share with you my March TBR, I want to take this time to say, welcome to La Rosa Reads. I love you. I appreciate you. Special shout out to my girl, Olive, from a book Olive. So many of you watched her video and she featured me as one of the booktubers to watch, one of 10 booktubers that she's been enjoying, and I am forever grateful. I don't take any of my subscribers or viewers for granted. I love doing this journey with you. I love you. So I've got a lot going on. I've got several books, quite a few books, that I have to read for different book clubs that are either virtual or in person. I also am a participant, a judge for the BookTube Prize, which is a book awards event that is virtual and is a part of the BookTube world. So I'm reading for that. And then I have a couple of books that I'd like to read for leisure. And there's also some books that I want to read for middle grade March Madness. I just discovered middle grade March, and I'm excited to be a participant in that in BookTube world. So, so much going on. All right, let's start with the books that I'm going to be reading for book clubs. The first book that I'm going to be reading for book club is the book club selection for the Radford University Alumni Virtual Book Club, and that is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. Ooh, this is like giving me all the thriller vibes, and I can't wait. Pretty and popular high school senior Andy Bell was murdered by her boyfriend, who then killed himself. It was all anyone could talk about, and 5 years later, Pip sees how the tragedy still haunts her town. Now a senior herself, Pip decides to re-examine the cold case for her final project, at first just to cast doubt on the original investigation. But soon she discovers a trail of dark secrets that might actually prove that Sal, the boyfriend, is innocent, and the line between past and present begins to blur. Someone in Fairview doesn't want Pip digging around for answers, and now her own life could be in danger. Oh my goodness. Radford University, y'all picked a good one. This is going to be a familiar one for you guys. This is a book that I shared with you in my January TBR that I thought for some reason that I was going to get to in January, knowing that Diverse Spines was going to feature this book as their book selection for their March book club. And it is The Personal Librarian. I am not going to dive into all the details about it because I did talk about this book and gave the synopsis of this book in my January TBR video. Just know that Diverse Spines is on Instagram and they're going to be having this book featured as the March selection. I'm looking forward to reading it. I've been wanting to read it for months. I've owned this book since maybe October or November of 2021. So I'm just ready to finally get into it. So my next book club selection book that I am going to be reading is Call Us What We Carry by Amanda Gorman. This is a reading that I'll be doing for my in-person book club that I have never seen in person because, y'all, something has happened every month since I've become a member of this book club, and I'm so frustrated. I love this group of women. We talk in group chats, but I have not seen them in person. I know one of the members, she's the one who brought me along. She is a parent at the school that I work at. I love her dearly. She is a friend and near and dear to my heart. So hopefully you guys, I will see you in person this month. And Call Us What We Carry is really something that I have been wanting to read anyway. It's a collection of poems. Everybody knows Amanda Gorman from the inauguration of President Joe Biden. And whether you fall in alignment with him politically or not, there's no denying that Amanda Gorman came out of that inauguration a star. So, formerly titled The Hill We Climb and Other Poems, Amanda Gorman's remarkable new collection reveals an energizing and unforgettable voice in American poetry. Call Us What We Carry is Gorman at her finest. And it also includes The Hill We Climb as the stirring poem that we all know and love and that was read at the inauguration. It also bursts with musical language, exploring themes of identity, grief, and memory. This lyric of hope and healing captures an important moment in our country's consciousness while being utterly timeless. The breakout poetry collection by the #1 New York Times bestselling author and presidential inaugural poet, Amanda Gorman. I can't wait. And I'm definitely going to get the hard copy. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. The last book for March that I'll be reading for a book club will be whatever A. Marie selects for her A. Marie's Book Club March selection. I don't know yet, so we'll just have to wait and see what that book will be. But just know your girl will be reading it. All right, now moving along to the BookTube prize. Yowza, the BookTube prize has kind of hijacked my March reading plans, but guess what? That's okay, because every single one of the books that I have been tasked with judging are books that I hadn't previously read, and they're books that are going to stretch me as a reader, and so I'm all for it. I'm all about it, baby. Currently, I am listening to, via audiobook, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. I'm currently on chapter, I believe, 6, and it is stirring. It is really entertaining. It is so entertaining that my husband, who is not a book lover like I am, was listening. Like, he actually stopped what he was doing and we were listening to this together. So this is really, I think, a first for our marriage. So I already love this book. Ryland Grace is the sole survivor on a desperate last chance mission, and if he fails, humanity and the earth itself will perish. No pressure. Except that right now he doesn't know that. He can't even remember his own name, let alone the nature of his assignment or how to complete it. All he knows is that he's been asleep for a very, very long time. And he's just been awakened to find himself millions of miles from home with nothing but 2 corpses for company. Yikes. So we don't know, what's going to happen next. I love how each chapter so far ends with a cliffhanger. So, it's hard for me to stop listening. Usually I'm like, oh, I'm going to listen to 2 chapters and then I'll move on when I'm listening to an audiobook. But this book, the way each chapter ends, it's like, you can't stop listening. So I'm looking forward to continuing with Project Hail Mary. And then for the BookTube prize, there is Appleseed by Matt Bell. So this is a breakout book that explores climate change, manifest destiny, humanity's unchecked exploitation of natural resources, and the small but powerful magic contained within every single apple. In 18th century Ohio, 2 brothers travel into the wooded frontier, planting apple orchards from which they plan to profit in the years to come. As they remake the wilderness in their own image, planning for a future of settlement and civilization, the long-held bonds and secrets between the two will be tested, fractured, and broken, and possibly healed. Very intriguing. Not typically a book that I would read, but I'm here for it. Another BookTube prize selection that I'm going to be diving into and have already started diving into is How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House, written by Cherie Jones. This title, first of all, is long and very intriguing. I was a little perplexed, a little, curious as to what this book was about. And I am enjoying it so far. I mean, I just literally started moments ago and I'm not very deep into it, but it's moving, y'all. It's really moving. So, in Baxter's Beach, Barbados, Lala's grandmother tells the story of the one-armed sister. It's a cautionary tale about what happens to girls who disobey their mothers and go into the Baxter's tunnels. When she's grown, Lala lives on the beach with her husband Aiden, a petty criminal with endless charisma whose thwarted burglary of one of the beach mansions sets off a chain of events with terrible consequences. A gunshot no one was meant to witness. A new mother whose baby is found lifeless on the beach, a woman torn between 2 worlds and incapacitated by grief, and 2 men driven into the tunnels by desperation and greed who attempt a crime that will risk their freedom and their lives. Y'all, A lot is happening in this book, and I love it. Hang in there with me. 2 more BookTube prize books to share with you. The next one being The Book of Form and Emptiness, written by Ruth Ozeki. So this is another one that's full of drama and action and just pulling you in from the beginning. So here we have a tragic death that has happened. And after that death, 14-year-old Benny begins to hear voices. The voices belong to the things in his house. A sneaker, a broken Christmas ornament. I'm getting chills. A piece of wilted lettuce. Although Benny doesn't understand what these things are saying, he can sense their emotional tone. Some are pleasant, a gentle hum or coo, but others are snide, angry, and full of pain. Yowza. Okay. Then in the meantime, he's also fallen in love with a mesmerizing street artist with a smug pet ferret. He meets a homeless philosopher poet. So this is bold, wise, poignant, playful, humane, and heartbreaking all at once. I have never read anything like that, but it might end up being my thing. And the last BookTube prize book that I have to read this month is Everyone Knows Your Mother's a Witch, a novel by Rivka Gloshin. Interesting title. Makes me feel a little bad, like I'm calling somebody's mama a witch, and I am not doing that, FYI. So this is supposed to be a witty book. It's a highly anticipated second novel. I have not read the author's first novel, but perhaps after reading this book, I'll be interested in doing that. The story begins in 1618 in the German duchy area of a town that I cannot pronounce correctly at this time, so I'm not going to go there. A plague is spreading. The 30 Years' War has begun, and fear and suspicion are in the air throughout the Holy Roman Empire. So in this small town, this character is accused of being a witch, and this character is an illiterate widow known by her neighbors for her herbal remedies. And so as I'm scrolling along here, that's basically the main problem, being misunderstood. And there's also some, comedy here, it sounds like. The story of how a community becomes implicated in collective aggression and hysterical fear is a tale of our time. It's a bold new novel, touchingly illuminating a society and a family undone by superstition, the state, and the mortal convulsions of history. Another one that I probably would not have picked up on my own. So we shall see. Yay! So I love discovering other booktubers, and I recently discovered Books and Jams and fell up on her video announcing Middle Grade March. And I was like, are you kidding me? There is such a thing as Middle Grade March. I love middle grades novels. Absolutely love them. I have a daughter who is 9 years old and is like in that middle grade era. I love the books that she brings home. So I am all in. I'm ready to participate with Books and Jams. And she also has 2 other booktubers that are like co-hosting Middle Grades March. Those 2 booktubers are The Curly Reader, love her, and Life Between Words, love her as well. So super exciting. I have plans to read several middle grades novels. I don't have all of them with me on hand right now. So the book that they are featuring in a book discussion at the end of the month is Pony by R.J. Palacio. I hope I pronounced that last name correctly. I'm very familiar with that author's books, other works. I'm not familiar with Pony. And so I'm all in. I'm going to read this book and join them for their discussion towards the end of the month. And I also plan to read some other middle grades books, one of which is Ophi's Ghost by Christina Ireland. I just absolutely love this cover. It's so haunting, beautiful. It makes me curious as to what the book's about, what's happening in this main character's life. I love covers that speak to me by the illustrations and are just so simple yet profound and speak to you in a way that makes you really want to open up the book. This is one of those covers. I want to read this book with my girls at night because we love to read together at nighttime. And I think we're all going to dig this. So Ophelia Harrison and her family used to live in a small house in Georgia, in the Georgia countryside. But that was before the night in November 1922 and the cruel act that took her home and her father from her. What just happened to be the same night that Ophi learned she can see ghosts? What does her new power mean to her or mean for her? And more importantly, how will she use it? My daughters love ghost stories, so I have a feeling this is going to be a hit in the La Rosa household. So I checked out this book from my school's library. I work at a school, the same school where my daughters attend school, and it is Lifting as We Climb, Black Women's Battle for the Ballot Box by Yvette Dion. I found it to be necessary for me to read something that honors and celebrates and recognizes Women's History Month, which is this month, the month of March. And I thought this would be very fitting. It's a nice intersection of women, of gender, and race. We just came out of Black History Month. And it's also a topic that I would like to educate myself more on. We hear a lot about Susan B. Anthony and so many other figures, other suffragists during the suffragette movement, but we don't really hear about too many of those Black suffragists. We hear about Sojourner Truth, maybe a couple of others, but there were so many more women who were pivotal in helping us as women here in America to achieve the right to vote and are still working to help us achieve equal rights. I'm looking forward to this one, and I can't wait to share with you what I learned. Whew, I don't know, how many books was that? That was a lot of books. But I am hopeful that I will get through those books and perhaps some more, because I will be on vacation for the latter part of the month of March. And therefore, I won't be like doing the day-to-day grind of working and hustling around with the girls, taking them to and from school and dance and all those things that we do, on the daily. I'm hopeful that that will help me get through these books and some more. What are you going to be reading this month? I would love to know. Please tell me in the comments below, and let's keep doing this book thing together. I would love to talk books with you, so stay in touch with me. And until next time, happy reading. Bye.